What is really behind the scenes of the secret conversation between Jungkook and Jimin? Why would a former HYBE staffer dare to leak it to the public? Click, read, and get ready for a reality much more complicated than we ever imagined. Before you continue reading, think about this. If the contents of your favorite idol's most private chat are suddenly spread by insiders, will you still be able to see them in the same way? Give your opinion in the comments column. Don't forget to click like, share with fellow ARMY, and subscribe so you don't miss this intense news again. Can a conversation destroy years of trust? Can a screenshot change the world's perception of two idols that have always seemed inseparable? And even more terrible, who really wants this to happen? These questions are now burning in the minds of millions of fans after the K-pop world was once again rocked by an unexpected incident: the leak of private conversations between Jungkook and Jimin, two BTS members. Purportedly from a former HYBE staff member himself. It's not just a rumor, nor is it baseless speculation from anonymous fanbase accounts. This time, the world saw firsthand, even if only in a deliberately released digital fragment with razor-sharp precision, a piece of truth that probably should never have come out of the shadows. Imagine that phone screen. Black. Then one by one message balloons appear. Emoticons. Short words. Long sentences full of emotion. A screenshot that quickly went viral among the ARMY community, causing unprecedented collective hysteria. Jungkook, why did you change after that? Because I never thought you'd say it to Bang PD. Jimin, I don't know who to trust anymore. The content of the chat, which Jungkook claimed was sent by BTS, not only hinted at conflicts within BTS, but also opened a gap in something that has been almost taboo to talk about openly: personal tensions that are not conveyed in public. Secrets that are tightly hidden even from the most loyal fans. A source who is now posing on Platform X under the pseudonym _HYBE uploaded a number of screenshot evidence that was quickly verified by many netizens as genuine. The language style, the delivery time, even the tick marks and the message structure all match the known communication patterns used by Jungkook and Jimin internally. What shook the most was not just the content, but rather the moment when the content of this conversation took place, coinciding with Jungkook's absence during one of the big showcase rehearsals early last year. Many thought it was just a health reason, but now a new allegation arises. An internal conflict point. One of Jimin's messages reads, "I'm sorry, but you keep moving away. Do you think I'm a traitor, Jungkook?" And Jungkook's reply, "More than that, I think you trust them more than me." A line of words that burns the comment space with unstoppable speculation. Who are they? What is meant by agency? Or is there another figure behind all this? Someone who has never come to the surface, but played a huge role in cracking the relationship of two people who used to be almost like siblings. Interestingly, the staff who leaked the contents of this chat did not necessarily attack one of the parties. Instead, through another post, he implied that this leak was a form of truth that is forced to be revealed for the sake of justice. This statement further provokes speculation that there is a hidden agenda, possibly related to HYBE's internal management system, that has been covered up from the public. Response from the agency? Quiet. There is no official statement. There is no clarification. In fact, HYBE's official social media account deleted a number of fan comments questioning the content of the chat, an action that many considered a form of indirect recognition that this leak was indeed valid. But behind this controversy, there is one thing that cannot be ignored: Jungkook's expression in his last interview. He seemed to be holding something back. His smile was stiff. He didn't want to look at the camera for too long. Is this due to the pressure from the chat leak? Or is it an emotional burden that hasn't been resolved since the conversation first took place? Meanwhile, Jimin chose to remain silent. In a short live that was done a few days after the viral chat, he only said one sentence that made the entire fanbase shiver. Sometimes, what you consider a brother can turn out to be the most unfamiliar person to you. And behind that sentence, thousands of fans began to speculate. Is there a real split in BTS's body? Or is it just a temporary injury on their long journey? But there is one more element that makes this story much deeper and more complex than just a chat leak. In one of the screenshots, a message appears that has never been mentioned publicly. If you tell the media, you know the risks. Who sent that message? And is the chat really a conversation between them? Or is there a third hand who has been organizing the storyline behind the scenes? Behind every sentence that is open to the public, there are still hundreds of lines of messages that are deliberately hidden. The released pieces of screenshots seem curated, as if the leaker wants us to form a certain opinion, but only from a part of the truth. The most painful question, then, is this: do we, as fans, have the right to know all this? Or is it that we are involved in a drama played out by forces far greater than we can imagine? And if so, how much did Jungkook and Jimin have to pay for the honesty of one staff member who felt left out one day after the chat leak shook cyberspace? The atmosphere in front of the HYBE building was no longer as usual. There was no crowd of fans laughing merrily while carrying light ticks. There were no smiles from the staff who usually greet kindly. Everything feels colder, more tense, more like a battlefield. And amid all that, one question began to resonate in digital and editorial spaces around the world. Will Jungkook and Jimin still be able to stand on the same stage? Or has their relationship cracked beyond what the public ever imagined? What made things even hotter was the appearance of additional screenshots the next day, not from the innercircle_HYBE account, but rather from a new account claiming to be an ex-trainee who knows everything. The content? A transcribed voice message, said to be from Jungkook, was sent at 3 a.m., a week after their last showcase in Japan. "I can't take it anymore, Hyung. If I have to pretend to smile one more time when he's next to me, I'm afraid I'm going to explode." The sentence spread faster than the fire touched gasoline. And even worse, netizens were quick to attribute it to Jungkook's coldness when Jimin touched his shoulder backstage, which was captured in a fan site video a few months ago. In the video, Jungkook is seen subtly shaking Jimin's hand, then glancing to the left as if asking the staff for help. At first it was considered a joke, but now all began to associate small signs that were previously ignored. Jimin is often not spoken to during VLive. Jungkook rarely follows back Jimin's posts, and even video of them being interviewed and Jungkook just smiling flatly as the interviewer referred to Jimin as his closest friend. But it's all still on the surface. It can still be considered a coincidence, until a document appeared in the form of a photo of HYBE's internal email, which made everything no longer undeniable. The email contained a recommendation from the management team that some promotional solo schedules between Jungkook and Jimin not intersect with each other in the coming 3-month period to maintain internal stability. Internal stability, a phrase that sounds like a formality. But for fans who have followed every BTS dynamic since its inception, it means one thing: a serious conflict that not even management can quietly resolve. And like opening a faucet without being able to close it again, netizens dug deeper. Several former variety show production crews are starting to raise their voices in South Korean online communities. One of them admitted that while recording BTS's segment for the year-end special, there was a moment where Jungkook left the set early. The reason? Jimin is considered to be too set the course of the interaction and makes Jungkook feel trapped in intimacy scenarios that he does not agree with. This sentence immediately ignited a heated debate. Many consider this a form of gaslighting. But there are also those who blame Jimin for supposedly using their closeness to form a fan service image that is now starting to be felt as a burden by Jungkook. But what broke fans' hearts the most was this message: "I know you love me, Hyung, but you have no right to decide who I am in front of others." It was a message from Jungkook allegedly sent shortly after the press conference in which Jimin, in an atmosphere full of laughter, referred to Jungkook as a person whose emotions are as volatile as the weather. At that time, fans considered him a joke. Now, many see it as a disguised wound. And just when everyone was still fixated on this drama, a former choreographer who had worked with them set off a new storm. In a post that went viral, he wrote, "Everyone backstage knows, since 2022, their relationship has started to cool down. But at the concert in Busan, it was the highlight. Something happened that night. Something that makes Jungkook can no longer call Jimin Hyung in the same way. What happened that night? To date, no one knows for sure. But rumors poured in about loud debates after midnight rehearsals, about the involvement of outsiders. It was even said that there was someone from the family of one of the members, up to allegations that one of them made a request to HYBE to no longer be united in the promotional unit. Is this just an ordinary conflict between friends who have been together for too long? Or is it a reflection of the systemic tension that goes on behind that glitz and lighted stage? On the other hand, fans are divided. Some blame former staff for leaking privacy. Some blame management for allowing the conflict to heat up. But more than that, Many cry because of one thing, the fact that relationships that have been considered pure and sincere so far can turn out to be sacrificed by pressure, expectations, and maybe betrayal. And the most heart-wrenching is the last message in the leaked chat. If one day all this comes out, I just want you to know one thing. I never hated you, Hyung. I'm just disappointed. A message that should only be read by two hearts that used to rely on each other. But now, it has become the consumption of millions of pairs of eyes, who can no longer close their eyes to the wounds that have been hidden behind their smiles. Will there be an apology after this? Or is it just the defense of each side? Will BTS continue to perform together as usual? Or is it the beginning of a slow breakup that no one wants to admit? One thing is certain: privacy has been taken away. And a relationship that once seemed unshakable is now shaken by something that probably can't be fixed with just an apology in front of the camera. But what makes it all darker, more unsettling, and more unforgivable to many, especially the longtime fans who grew up with BTS, is the fact that this leak turns out to be just the surface of a much deeper pool of conflict. After the contents of the private chat were revealed, one after another people from the past began to appear. Not just ordinary staff, but those individuals who were once part of the most closed circle in the HYBE system. Those who used to swear allegiance to the code of silence. One of the first to speak up was a former personal assistant who used to be on duty during the promotion of the album B. In a live stream that went viral and was later deleted within 2 hours, he mentioned an event he had never publicly discussed until now, a closed-door rehearsal session that ended with Jimin leaving the room in tears, and Jungkook throwing his earphones at the studio while shouting, "Stop talking about my past." That sentence sparked a big theory that to this day has not been refuted. Did Jimin ever divulge Jungkook's past stories to someone outside the group? And more importantly, was the story used by management to pressure Jungkook in solo promotion negotiations, a former manager who now lives outside of Korea, who was previously known for his loyalty to all BTS members, anonymously wrote in an expat forum that for more than a full year, Jungkook refused to sign some promotional documents because he felt pitted against Jimin to provoke fan service interactions. In the internal document, a very cold and derogatory term is mentioned, *emotional. Dynamic stimulation between members. In other words, they are encouraged to be seen fighting, then reconciling in front of the camera, for the sake of selling the narrative. Is friendship real? Are the wounds we see just part of the script? But the story got even crazier when at 2 a.m., the same account that first leaked the contents of the chat, _HYBE, uploaded a 48-second voice recording. Inside was a male voice which fans identified as Jungkook's real one, with an almost desperate tone. "You think I'm silent because I'm strong? I'm silent because if I speak, everything will be destroyed. It's not just me. It's not just him, but everything we build." The tape exploded on Weverse. In 15 minutes, the platform experienced the highest traffic of the year. Thousands of comments flooded the page of Jungkook's last post, pleading for clarity. Some blame HYBE. Some of them are just like Jimin, but mostly just write one sentence. "Do you still love him as a brother, Jungkook?" The sentence is heartbreaking because it contains a load of emotion that cannot be answered with business logic or management contracts. It's about broken trust. It's about a trauma that was never given room to heal. And about the inhuman expectations of a person who since the age of 15 has been living under the glare of cameras. Some investigative reporters are trying to find clarity, but every time they ask HYBE's side a question, the answer is always the same: we don't comment on internal issues between our artists. Meanwhile, overseas media began to sniff out this tension as a golden opportunity. Headlines in Japan, America, and France include *BTS crisis. Jungkook's private messages reveal shocking rift. Even more horrifying was the appearance of hints that there was legal intervention against Jungkook shortly after this leak. An insider said the agency sent Jungkook a warning letter not to make public statements without approval. This led to allegations that HYBE was actively silencing Jungkook not for the sake of preserving the group's good name, but rather because they feared that something much bigger would be uncovered. In that darkness, one document leaked again, this time not a chat, not a voice, but a photo. A blackboard in the training room with Jimin's handwriting, which was secretly photographed by someone behind the curtain of the studio. It says, "If you keep blaming me for something I don't even know, then you believe the rumors more than me. This shows just how frustrated Jim is. And while everyone is trying to figure out who's wrong, no one really knows the full story from both sides. But is their relationship dead? Or is this just a storm that will pass? To be sure, public confidence is now shaken. Jungkook, who has always been seen as a symbol of sincerity and hard work, now looks like someone who is tired, broken, and wants to talk, but is held back by a wall too high